man. Hey man. Oh yeah. Hey man. Hey man. Hey everybody, and welcome to Hey Man. I'm Josh.
And I am Jacob.
And today we have a good friend of mine. How long have we known each other, man?
Oh, I mean...
Early 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Dan Levy is here.
I'm here.
I like to start out the pods just by giving everybody their flowers a little bit. I want to tell you something about you, dude.
Okay.
Maybe the only person that I have ever come across in Hollywood where I've never heard one person say a bad word about you.
Oh, that's very nice.
Not just not a bad word, dude, but people are so complimentary because in this town, look, you know when you go into a casting director's office and you do a read and they're like, that was amazing.
Yeah, like all my auditions?
Yeah.
That I never got.
That was amazing.
Zero rolls.
Any notes? No notes. Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But you know you're walking out of there and you're never going to hear from them again.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of insincere friendliness.
Yes.
Because people are too scared just to be human and be like, hey, we like you, but you're just not right for us. Your friendliness is so genuine and sincere. This is the thing that people say about you, just so you know that. Like, he's one of the most genuinely nice people, especially in this town. You do what you say. You're a good friend. Yo, Kenny Garcia told me to hug you and pull you. When we hugged, he said, make sure it's hands, middle of the back, tip to tip.
Okay.
So he wanted to go serious hug, like we just pulled you out of a cave or something.
Well, he lives in Florida now.
Yes. That's why we're
That's the type of hug he wants.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know, man, like sometimes nobody in this lifetime, people tell you what other people think. That's what people are saying about you is not only forget how funny you are, all that stuff. We know how, because that's how you wouldn't be getting these jobs or having Netflix hire you if you weren't successful, if you weren't funny and good at your job. The most important shit, dude, people genuinely like you as a good person. So this is
my favorite podcast I've ever been on.
But there aren't that many people like that here. So, man, super kudos.
I love you. I don't know you that well, but you went to the same school as my son, so I'm sure you're cool.
I love you too. How about that?
I love you
I
too.
mean, when I said, hey, Dan Levy's going to be on the podcast, his first question when he goes, the pedophile? I go, I don't think so.
No. And then he comes in and he goes, oh no, that's Dan Schneider.
Yeah,
I was like, so not Dan Levy.
Yeah.
Not my name. There's tons of people with the same name as me, but Dan Schneider is not one of them.
When I told you that, though,
Schneider and Levy are way different, by the way. Yeah.
You were like, there are so many Dan Levys, there could be one.
It's possible, yeah, but
maybe I should pull my kid from the school you went to.
If that's what they're teaching?
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, and so Stamford, by the way, my parents lived there for 2 years.
I think I knew that. We talked about this.
Yeah.
That's the first house I ever remember going to of theirs on the East Coast, is that Connecticut house.
Is that right?
Yeah. With the cat?
No, that was upstate New York.
That was a New York house?
Yeah, that was Wyndham, New York.
Ooh, Wyndham. Yeah, Stamford's a great place. Lots of white people, lots of squirrels. And it's the home of the WWE.
Yes.
So that's the big thing about Stamford. And now it's so massive. But growing up, it was WWF, and it was still cool. And the wrestlers would always come to our elementary school and like give us like assemblies, and they would do like the don't do drugs, where they were like all jacked up on steroids. It was insane.
Who was the best one that came?
The Boss Man.
Oh,
Could you imagine Macho
Boss
Man coming to do a dare speech?
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
All coked up?
Yeah, those guys were all coked up, roided up, just waiting for their hearts to explode.
It's funny
because
because
giving us advice.
Because his favorite wrestler of all time is Macho Man, and he would always, you see the clips and you see the thin line of sweat and the crazy eyes. I remember me asking you, I was like, how did not more of them die in the ring on TV? Like
that 80s coke hit different.
Oh my God.
It was legit. That was like the
there was just more fun in the 80s,
Randy the Macho Man Savage to me was without a doubt the best promo cutter, the best combo of everything.
Yeah.
In the ring, his relationship with Elizabeth, all that stuff. Oh yeah,
I know, that was just like the height of like what is this? Let's just do this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Get a bunch of strong guys. They'll scream.
Put them
and
on
people
drugs.
will maybe show
Sweaty.
up. And now it's like $1 trillion business.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Crazy.
And legitimate. The biggest stars in the world want to be associated with WWE.
Yeah.
Did you, like, when you were a kid?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. I love the Ultimate Warrior. I went to some matches because I had a friend from school whose like dad worked in WWE, so WWF. So he would like take us for like birthday parties. We would see wrestling matches. We would never go to like the WrestleManias. So sometimes you go to like a B night and be like, only like 300 people. You're like, all right, I don't know any of these wrestlers, guys in Speedos.
Yeah, your friend's dad had some pull, but not enough pull.
Yeah, exactly. It was not enough pull, but it was fun.
I always wondered what that first meeting was. We're like, what are we gonna wear? And Vince was like, well, everybody should wear Speedos naturally.
Yeah, as little clothes as possible.
I wonder when the Speedo conversation came in.
Oh, day one.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah,
I think that was the pitching point.
Yeah, it was like we want these guys to look like G.I. Joe action figures.
Yeah.
And we want them to break their knees and backs in front of screaming people.
And then
they did it.
Yeah, and get
Could
hit
you
in the face
imagine
with chairs.
I love The Rock, but could you imagine how he feels when he wakes up every morning, just like his body? You know, like, and he actually is probably not an example because he's so taken care of by like probably multiple doctors, but sort of like any of these wrestlers, you know, like Ric Flair waking up in the morning.
Dan, just think about at your age, not doing anything the day before.
I know
how you feel when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You're like, do you make old man noises when you get out of bed?
No, I make old noises when I pee. I go,
By the way, if that's the noise you make when you pee, you might want to go to a doctor. I don't know about you, but
I do.
That sounds like a medical emergency.
I scream, and then I shiver. What disease do I have?
Yo,
all of them. Does it burn?
No, it doesn't burn.
Thank God.
I used to do an impersonation on stage of an old dude peeing in a urinal next to me, and this is it. And nothing's come out yet. That's just him working up the.
My favorite line of that is when you're like, and then eventually comes out. It just sounds like he's throwing a bunch of coins in the urinal.
Yeah, ding 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 ding.
One of the the first impressions I ever did on stage was my impression of signing on to America Online. This was like '99. Exactly. America Online was like the first like,
AOL. That's what I was gonna guess. Yeah. Okay.
Signing on to AOL, and I would go. I would scream it so loud. And then I'd go, lost connection. It's a vintage joke now.
I should bring
it
back.
I have an AOL joke in my set. Yeah.
It talks about how old people are who have AOL.
Oh, that's so funny. It's so true.
100%.
My wife still has an AOL.
My mom.
His mom.
Still has an AOL.
Did you grow up with brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, John. Yeah.
Older?
Younger, but he acts older.
Did you... Meaning, was he bigger than you growing up?
No, but he just like tells me what's going on. You know, he's just more like just a little more aggressive than me. And I would like tell him something. He's like, "That's wrong," and I'm like, "You're in second grade." You know, like
how much older?
Oh, I'm only 3 years older, but still, he would just always. He always was like the fact machine.
Did you torture him at all growing up?
Yeah, we're really close now, but we would fight so much when we were younger.
Yeah,
I remember a babysitter was coming over one time and we were fighting and the babysitter was like, "Hi." And my mom's like, "Stop fighting." And I took a heel of my mom's shoe and I fucking threw it at him like a fucking ninja star and it stuck into his spine. He's like, "Ah!" He's screaming.
Like
he starts
skin?
crying.
Like stuck into his spine?
No, but like his back cramped up. Like,
Yeah.
and he
caught it in like the shoulder blades.
And everyone's screaming and this babysitter's like, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
I gotta tell you, man. Do you find it okay? Because how many kids do you ever know?
I have 3 kids right now, but that's it. I don't plan on getting any more of them.
That's what everybody says.
Do you find? Because this is one thing I find. I think parenting was easier back then.
Yes,
because we were unsupervised, which made parenting easier.
Oh, I think about like when I was my son's age that he is now, which is 11. I remember I used to like walk into the woods with my dad's cigars and smoke them. And I would then come home and be like, "Mommy, I smoked a cigar, and she was like, okay. Like that was like
Right.
that was it.
You guys-
like imagine if my son was like, hey, I walked around Sherman Oaks today and smoked a cigar. I'd be like,
Why were you
"What?"
lighting things in the woods by yourself?
I know. There's no rules.
Do you find that
Feral.
I was telling him one of the big difference I feel like from when we grew up to when he grew up.
Yeah.
Also is that besides the unsupervised, which is bananas.
Yeah.
If you think about how much we were just left alone,
Oh yeah.
but our parents, well, my parents, didn't really police what we did to each other.
No, not
You
at all.
have to do that now. Siblings have to be nice to each other now.
Oh yeah, there's books on them, you know.
Right?
Yeah.
But you were allowed to do terrible shit to each other.
Oh yeah, there was no rules. Now there's so many books, so many rules. You're just trying to like, because now we know that like it's better to to do this,
not let
to
kids
pay
make all
attention
the
to them
decisions. Yeah.
and just not let them throw fucking heels into their back and not deal with it. But yeah, it's a whole totally different thing. I mean, with my daughter, like if she wants to walk to our neighbor's house, we like hover behind her just because it's I don't know, it's just that's probably not good too, but that just feels like what we do now.
How old were you when you were allowed to leave the house by yourself, get on a bike or go to a friend's house? Like, how old do you think you were?
Oh, I mean, I was riding bikes around my neighborhood when I was like 10, but
Easy.
I was really into rollerblading, and I was an aggressive rollerblader.
Do you get-
Yes,
By
I was.
the way, weird flex, but okay.
What were you? I need to know what the rollerblade outfit was.
Jinkos.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, and
I was
then-
gonna say jorts, but that's close
Yeah,
enough. I
big
think.
Jinkos.
Yeah.
I had, a big Stussy hoodie, and I wore those big knee pads. I tried to go pro as a rollerblader in like 1996. I got a wheel sponsor and everything.
Stop this.
For real?
I swear to God, I was legit. But then
Did you have a nickname?
no?
You just went straight Jew into rollerblading?
I was just Jew. I was just Jew rollerblader.
The Jew.
I was the Jew. I was the flippy Jew. No, I was just Dan on the skates. But yeah, we were like rail sliding half pipes. But what happened was it was like 96, and then rollerblading really took off, and like I couldn't.
Did it?
For about 6 months, and then ate dick.
No, there was a moment that it was at the X Games.
Okay. Yeah.
Once, I think.
Yeah, it was the X Games once, and it was just people were realizing, as skateboarders said the whole time, that it's a little bit easier to do tricks on rollerblades than it is on skateboards. So that's why skateboarders and rollerbladers were always having the feud. So what happened was
What? There was a beef between.
yeah, where were you?
Just like there's right now, like it's not really
What
a beef.
kind of beef?
First of all, Seattle was like a place that it was happening.
Okay. But you beefed like out on the streets? Here's the thing. I can't imagine like a rollerblading gang really causing any kind of.
No, it wasn't like fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But
no.
it was a little bit of that.
They made sure you recycled on the right bin.
Yeah.
Like,
got it.
yeah.
But it was a little bit of just like the tension. There's a little bit of tension.
Got it.
So anyway, I was doing my thing, but it just sort of took off in a way where people just started doing insane shit. And then I actually got in an accident where I crashed through a half pipe for real.
You went through it?
Yeah, it was like
When was it built? The Civil War?
no, like our friend made it.
Oh, that's why.
And like
Yeah,
my friend
that makes
Manny
sense.
made this half pipe, and he was also 14. And then I was like, let me check this fucking thing out.
First attempt.
And then I flew up, and I was like getting into it. We were doing a lot of cool tricks, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. And I remember, thank God I was wearing a helmet. I went up, and I crashed headfirst through the half pipe, and I heard Manny on the top look to our friend Jeremy. He goes, shit, I think he's dead.
That is amazing.
And I was just like, I'm not dead, but I'm never doing that again.
I'm not dead yet. And like,
And then that was it. Then I took the blades off for aggressive skating.
You know what I think, honestly, also for people over the age of 40, that's
What?
different from especially the age of the kids you're raising, is that like anybody over the age of 40, because we were unsupervised a lot, could probably think of 10 times in their life where they're like, oh, I should be dead.
Right.
That's
I
one of them
shouldn't.
for
I
you.
shouldn't have
Oh
survived.
yeah,
that.
another rollerblading story. This is turning into a rollerblading
No,
podcast.
I would like all of them.
I was with my buddy Mike, and there's downtown Stanford. Now it's very built up, but when we were growing up, there was like a Bennigan's and like a library. There was a post office with tons of stairs, and the whole fun thing of rollerblading was like going down the stairs backwards, all that stuff. As you guys don't know, but now you did.
Yeah, of course.
So
No
Mike,
spandex?
No, by the way, my oldest brother tried to rollerblade for a little bit, and then
It's pretty good.
yeah, but then he went from being a really good scooterer to a rollerblading, and then tried to skateboard, and then fell off it, and then lost all his
I
confidence.
wish I could skateboard. That's one of my.
Me too.
You could play guitar. My biggest regrets is guitar and skateboarding. But anyways,
Guitar is one of my biggest ones too. Anyway,
Hit me.
So we are going with Mike, and his parents don't want him. His parents are a little more strict. My parents were sort of. There was really not a lot of rules. I never had like a curfew, but that. No, I didn't stay out late. That kind of helped me. I never sort of try to push it.
Did your friend? Did anybody have curfews, or was it more like
the girl? I feel like our like girlfriends did, and like a few of our like
for us too.
Catholic friends had curfews. But like for the most part, we could do whatever we want. But we would go home. We weren't like nuts.
We were the same way.
Yeah. So, but Mike's parents like don't go rollerblading downtown. And then after school one day, Mike's like, I want to go rollerblading downtown. There's all the steps. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We start rollerblading. As soon as we start gliding to downtown, I hear, and Mike got hit by a fucking car. No. Swear to God. And this woman gets out and she's like, oh my God. She thought she killed Mike. And he's like, oh, and he gets up and he's like, got like a 15-year-old body. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he's like, oh, I'm good. And she's like, let me get you McDonald's. And he's like, okay. And then she gets to McDonald's. She's
Not
like,
a hospital.
Yeah, I know. And
Let me get you a 10-piece nugget.
And she's like, thank you so much. And we were so young. She's like, I don't have insurance. We don't know what that meant. Yeah. And we're like, okay, cool. And then we went. And then the next
that is crazy.
Then the next day, Mike is like fucked up and he's like limping. And I was like, did you tell your mom? He's like, no, I didn't tell them that we're downtown. And I was like, okay. And then the funniest thing is then years later, it's like Mike's like home from college and it's Christmas. They're all drinking, his whole family, and they're telling great stories. He's like, oh God, I remember that one time where I got run over by a car rollerblading, and it was like, what?
He was like, oh yeah, I'm the only one who knows about that. That is amazing.
He was so pissed.
But that's also, that would never happen today.
Oh, never. No.
Honestly, because if somebody got hit by a car, there'd be 74 phones out.
Oh, yeah. Also, could you imagine if our kids are like, can I go rollerblading downtown?
By myself?
Like, are you buying meth?
Well, by the way, that's also the only reason it wouldn't happen today is because nobody rollerblades. So no one's getting hit on rollerblades anyways. It's probably anything that fucking bird scooter.
Did you throw snowballs at cars and shit like that?
Yeah, I threw snowballs at cars. We took baseball bats to mailboxes.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do that.
I threw stink bombs. I got kicked out of Hebrew school.
Why?
Because I threw stink bombs in Hebrew school.
Where in the school? Where in the school?
We got him at the carnival.
No, the stink bombs were the best.
The best.
I had those growing up from the ice cream truck. Remember at Beaman Park?
Stink bombs, love Beaman. Stink bombs and smoke bombs. So, but we took the stink bombs and we threw them in the hallway right when they rang the bell, and all the kids came out. I remember Brooke Gomberg, great Jewish girl, just goes, I'm nauseous. And I remember we were getting in trouble. They were like, you cannot throw stink bombs in Hebrew school. Brooke Gomberg is nauseous. And we're like, we know Brooke. She's probably fine now. And then my mom's like, the Hebrew school called. You can't throw stink bombs. Brooke Gomberg is nauseous. I was like, I know. Fucking Brooke.
Did they always first name, last name her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. Things like that, like the throwing snowballs at cars, which we did also. Now, when you did the baseball bat to the mailbox, was that driving by in the car, or did you get out of the car and hit it with the?
Yeah, that was like a driving by, like.
Yeah, we drive by with the car.
I'm not gonna lie,
and it always happened. Like it just always happened. Like our mailbox too. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Every 3 months we had to pick it back up. My dad fucking pissed. Yeah.
I always wanted to do that.
I will tell you, the snowballs at the cars. I feel, looking back at how stupid that is now, as somebody who drives,
Not smart.
but like I'm in my own world. If somebody honks at me, it scares the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah.
But the snowball, you ever get chased?
Yeah.
That was and you just scattered, and you just hope that you were not the footprints that they decided to follow.
One of the craziest things connected to the stink bomb is that when the stink bomb happened at Hebrew school, me and my group of friends that did it were not allowed to go trick-or-treating that year. And Halloween was incredible, and we were 12. We couldn't go trick-or-treating, and then that year these kids were throwing, it was like a full egg thing. Like other kids we knew were going there, egging houses, and they were egging them so hard that they were shattering windows, and those kids got arrested. So we always think, like, thank God we definitely would have been with them. So, because they were like taking it to the extreme.
Yeah. Wait, did you not get to go trick or treating because the Hebrew school wouldn't let you, or your parents wouldn't?
No,
let you?
that was the punishment. That's the only thing they knew would actually make us upset.
Imagine if the Hebrew school was like, hey, by the way, you guys can't trick or treat,
and we're like, you don't like Halloween's not even Jewish.
Yeah, what do you mean?
How are you going to enforce that?
When I was in college in Texas, I had a roommate's mother say to me about Thanksgiving, I'm so happy to hear that you people celebrate Thanksgiving. And I was like, this is not a religious holiday. This is like in America.
Do you bring your matzah?
This is an America thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I will tell you that we got, it's bananas.
Yeah.
We got followed. You know what happened once? Okay, so we used to have a town. This is how crazy different it was. So we had the Amherst Fair. And see, we would shaving cream people, strangers. We were kids. We'd put shaving cream in our hands and we'd walk up and we'd put it in your face. We'd run away.
Oh, I would chase you down.
Okay.
Hands.
This one dude and we were 12, dude.
Right.
Straight up would, if he caught you, would grab you and pick you up and slam you on the ground.
Oh my God.
Nobody
did anything.
No.
Yeah, of course not.
Nobody said shit to this guy. Nobody said shit to us, and nobody said shit to him. I feel like there was so much for lack of a better term, laws of the playground.
Right.
Where once you're out there, if you do something might happen to you. Right. And we're going to let that happen.
It was like street rules.
It really felt a lot more like that. Like, especially, man, we would get on our bikes and just go somewhere. Okay. And what blows me away is that our parents couldn't get in touch with us.
No.
There was no way to know.
I had a beeper, I think, during my rollerblading phase.
Did you?
By the way, I was going to say, that checks out 100%.
Yeah, I had all the things that were ridiculous. I check all the. I had a beeper. I had a sidekick. I had a sidekick during like the Chelsea days.
I'm not gonna lie. That's actually I love that because the sidekicks were so before their fucking time.
Sidekicks were actually still the best form.
Remember the ones that was straight side and then you would go floop.
Yeah,
and it would flip.
Yeah,
for sure.
So before its time.
They were like sponsored by Wilmer Valderrama. Like I don't know what year it was, but it was the year of Wilmer Valderrama. Every time I think of a sidekick,
the beeper on the Janko jeans feels like is almost the perfect fit.
It really is.
Then the Walkman with the small little
yellow Discman. Yeah.
Yep.
Were you a good, like in school? You were a good student.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like the best student, but I was fine. Like I would get in trouble for like laughing. Like they were in Spanish class. I remember one time we were going through like Yo to Leau Usted, and there was this one kid who went through puberty like way before us, and his name was like Mickey, and he had the deepest voice, right? So everyone went through it, and he goes Yo to, and I started fucking dying, and then Mike, the guy hit by the car, starts laughing too, and then he was like, "Stop laughing, it's not funny," and we're like, "Okay," and then he's like, "Please continue, Mickey." He's like, "Yo, dude." And I was like, I can't fucking deal. And she's like, "Stop laughing." And we're like, "We will stop laughing." She's like, "If you don't stop laughing, you're going to get detention." And we're like, "Okay, fine." So then again, we start fucking dying, right? And she's like, now you have to write an essay about why, a 1,000-word essay, why it's not okay to laugh during Spanish class. And I was like, okay. She's like, "Do not laugh again." And we're like, okay. Fucking right away. Yo, dude, we fucking start screaming. Now I'm like hysterical crying. And she pulls us outside the class. She goes, "You are writing a 10,000-word essay about why you cannot laugh during Spanish class." And I was like, fuck. And then that night, I had to write this whole fucking letter, and I think it was like the first comedy writing I ever did.
In Spanish or English?
No, in English. But I was like, the year was 1994.
That was your first bit.
Yeah, my first bit about poor Mickey.
Did you, by the way, you've heard this. Our Spanish teacher used to have sex with people in our class.
Which, by the way,
that's another thing that doesn't really happen anymore.
Well, it does, but people don't brag about it. The teachers get arrested.
Oh yeah, no, but here's
so you know, that's what happens now. Is you go to jail for being a pedophile.
Yeah,
is how that's supposed to work.
That's not how it happened. When, as a matter of fact, if you asked my friend today, did that scar you? And he'd be like, "It might be the best scar I've got." Like, he was like, it was such a great memory. And I used to have to drive him over there, and she would make me enchiladas, and they would go and have sex, and then they'd be done having sex.
How old were you guys?
I could drive. He couldn't.
Okay.
So 16, 15.
And how old was she?
30
probably.
32.
Oh my God. Did she ever get caught?
No. Who wanted to blow a good thing, Yeah.
I mean, oh my God.
he was like, don't tell anybody. I'm like, free enchiladas. Who am I telling?
100%.
This is the best food I've ever had.
You got enchiladas and he got tacos. Yeah, like, it worked out well.
Yeah, that was definitely a thing for sure. I remember. Yeah, that was
different time though.
Different time. Yeah,
different time for sure.
And that same Spanish teacher, who made me write the essay, she ended up like getting cheated on by her husband and leaving, and he left her family, and she would just talk about it all the time, and then I also would laugh. Yeah.
But like when the way you guys used to talk to each other, right? The way we used to tease each other.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a no now, but I feel like we need to find a middle ground, because fucking with people used to be part of the vernacular.
Right.
And not in a negative way.
Right.
It's that is gone. The way that is long gone.
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem now is someone was telling me yesterday the thing called micro boredom, where like that's now what micro boredom is, when you are a kid today and you're watching TV and then the TV is over and then or is a commercial, and during the commercial you grab your iPad. You know, and it's like, it used to be like okay to be like bored, because being bored, you would walk around, you'd go smoke cigars in the woods, you know, you do stuff.
So crazy.
And now I feel like the iPad and all this stuff, and we all do it. So I'm not saying that I don't do it, but it's just that definitely is not helping with it, because now not only are we like making sure our kids don't do anything, they also are so doing all these things all the time that it doesn't even matter. You know?
Did you guys in high school? Well, you were bullied a little bit in high school.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
You were bullied in high school, but it's
why were you bullied?
I was bullied in middle school because middle school first, I grew my hair out like way longer than this. My mom's mom was diagnosed with cancer for the third time, so I grew my hair out to donate to Locks of Love. So I got picked on for looking like a girl because, as you can also see, I'm not the biggest person of all time.
Right.
So legit, if you saw me from the back, I looked like a girl. And so I got picked on for that. I got picked on for being too skinny. In high school, I just got picked on for, I don't know. I really couldn't figure out why I got picked on in high school, truthfully.
From the point of view of somebody who was not somebody who picked on people in high school, but as a younger brother and somebody who observed a lot of it, you're and I don't mean this in a bad way, you're a dude who's in touch with his emotions. You've always been a sensitive kid.
Yeah, for sure.
And so there's a certain group of guys at that age, they're going to smell that blood in the water.
Yeah, that was like me in high school too. It's like I always had my great like core group of friends from like musical theater and like curtain call, which was like this improv class, and like my comedy, like I was doing improv since I'm 9, so I had this like very sort of like group of like kind of like you would call them like theater kids, you know, but we were like tight. But I was also friends with all girls, you know, like I always was friends with so many girls, and you know, there you go, I'm cool.
But you must have got picked on a little bit.
Yeah, so I got picked on because basically like all the popular girls, like I was friends with them.
Yeah,
you know, and I even my high school girlfriend was like a cheerleader, and then it was like all these like jocks were like, they didn't like that I was sort of like in their space or friends with all the girls they like. And I remember there was one party I went to with this kid Mark, who like all these girls I was friends with all played hockey. And then I didn't play hockey, but I was just friends with them. And all the guys who played hockey with these girls were like fucking like serious, like East Coast, like jocks. And they hated that they like liked me and thought I was funny. And there was a party where they pushed me down the stairs. And I was so fucking.
How old were you?
I was like 13, and I got pushed downstairs at this party. And I came home. I was so mad, and
dude.
I was.
Yeah, but then guess what? You got sympathy from the girls the next day. Like that was the thing. It's a jealousy thing. They were like, well, maybe if we show that we beat him up, that he's a pussy, that the girls won't like him. But the next day, instead, they were still your friends and were like, oh, you guys are assholes, and hey, are you okay? Like,
right.
So
yeah, and then
it was a lose win for you. You were like, I got pushed down some stairs, but I'm still friends with the popular.
Yeah, and I'm still friends with those girls. Yeah. And they're not, and those guys are fucking just like all
peaked
in high school.
Yeah.
Truly,
for
100%.
Sure. It's interesting, man. Part of me is like, there's got to be a balance, because to me, there was something not good about the bad things that happened to you, but good because you figure out how to get over them or how to move past them.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a skill set that is important, man. Yeah. To be able to solve problems by yourself and to be like, that was a terrible thing that happened to me.
Yeah. And just sort of having to deal with that and just having like push through and deal with like rejection early on.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of, that kind of stuff has just been, and especially what we do, it's like, that's such a part of it. So to like start to sort of grow that skin, you know, early on, I didn't know I was doing it, but then you come out of it and you're like, okay, I feel like I could just like take on anything a little bit.
We don't do that as much for our kids anymore. We solve. Yeah. I found myself with him at one point. My dad said to me, you got to stop solving his problems because eventually he's going to have to solve his problems.
Yeah.
You have to stop solving his problems. Even if you watch him go through some terrible stuff at 12, how terrible could it be? But you need to let him fall down. You need to not solve if he's on the playground and he comes up and goes, this kid is this, you at some point have to say, go figure it out.
Yeah. Like my son's at sleepaway camp right now and he hated the first week and he's like, he loves writing like scripts and he like has a movie podcast.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's got a movie podcast.
Wait, how old is he?
He's 11.
Wait, I think I've seen his movie podcast or clips of it on here.
Yeah, Abe loves movies.
Yes.
I'm going to need this.
He loves it. And Rachel like loves your podcast so much. She's like, you do this with Abe. And I was like, well, he's 11. It's not the same sort of vibe yet, but we'll get there eventually. But he was like, I can't wait to go to, and he's going to the East Coast Sleepaway Camp. He's like, can't wait to get there and tell everyone about my screenplays and my podcast. And I was like, why don't you just start with like, I love LeBron James.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
Like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
So, but the first week he was there, he wanted to come home. He's freaking out. And the camp called us and like, he's so upset. And then Rachel was like, we should go get him. And I was like, we can't get him. It's not a rescue mission. They're not calling us saying he's like dying.
Yeah.
He's just like having a hard time adjusting. And now, he ended up loving it, but I think it was just that hard transition. But I our instinct as these sort of parents in 2024 is to fucking fly to the Poconos with a helicopter and get him out and bring him back to LA where he's cozy and comfy and
You just though instilled a huge bit of confidence in him that he now realizes he can get through that. If he feels alone or he feels like a little scared, he now has enough confidence in himself as Abe to be like, oh, I can get through this. Mm-hmm. If you had gone and got him, that would have happened every time until like, it's such a smart move, man, because it's hard. Sometimes what I realized, the hardest decisions hard for me because it causes, I see them in pain, but at the end of the day, coming out of it, definitely best move.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's really good for him, but it's hard to fight that sort of like parental instinct that we have now as parents.
It's
like
your kid. You want to do everything you can for your kid. When I was getting heavily bullied in high school, I remember
like beat up or just no friends.
Well, there was one time on the football team. I was on the football team my sophomore year, and we were all at the water trough, and it was pads, and there was a dude on the team who ended up being a psychotic person, joined the Marines, shocker. And I was...
But we need them on that wall.
100%.
That's what we need on that wall.
And I have my back to the field, I'm getting some water, and all of a sudden I feel somebody hit me, and I go straight into a fence, and my heels touch my head.
Oh, God.
And I was like, thinking back on it, I for sure could have been paralyzed. 100%. Like, it could have been really bad. And I got it, and it's this dude, and he takes his helmet off, and I'm not going to say his name because it's not even worth it. And he was like, oh, my bad. I tripped. And I legit, like, I threw my helmet at him. And we went face to face. He was a way bigger kid than me, way stronger. And I was just like, it was the first time I really kind of like stepped up. And they had to separate us and whatnot. But like, that was the only time I really physically got hit. All the other times, I just got verbally beat the fuck up. Every day in the locker room.
At the school you told me you went to, the high school, was that the first school before you transferred?
At Notre Dame.
Okay.
Notre Dame got verbally beat up just by...
At least you were paying for it.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Verbally beat up by everybody, by kids I grew up with, like kids I went to Carpenter with, kids I went to middle school with. Eventually, we're on sports teams and we're friends with the kids that were picking on me, but didn't want to show that they were friends with me because they were surviving for themselves. So some just kind of laughed and stuck off it, and they would still talk to me one-on-one, and others eventually joined in on it. And it just like, I saw kids that I had known since I was 4 go from somebody I knew to a complete stranger. And it was like, it was hard. And one
your
year,
dad being on Chelsea lately didn't help?
Well, it helped for a little bit. It helped once my freshman year. I asked to go to homecoming my freshman year.
Okay.
On TV.
Wait.
Okay.
You just spoiled it. Damn it.
Oh, sorry.
I asked her once, and she told me I needed to be more creative. And I told him
Can you believe that shit?
And I told him
God.
that. And then he told Chelsea that. And Chelsea brought me on after a show and was like, "Hey, so Jacob's here because he has something to ask a girl who told him to pretty much do it better. Jacob, what do you have to say?" And I asked her again. And what I didn't know is that she made me get more creative because she already had a date. And so I took this date from another dude. He ended up hating me for the rest of the time that I was there.
I get it.
Don't blame him, by the way. My bad. Didn't know.
Was she on the show with you?
No.
Oh, that's.
But I was telling everybody, like, hey, tune in to Chelsea tonight. And so the whole school, I was a freshman, sophomore, juniors, seniors,
that's
were like,
awesome.
yo, that was dope. I had a little bit of clout for a little bit, for like maybe a couple months. And then I went from fucking hero to zero real quick again.
I remember, dude, I was in Chelsea Late the office when I was writing on that, when it was at the old studio over on Olympic,
yeah, I think so.
and I walked into
far to get there.
Oh my god,
The most traffic.
the worst.
One of the worst studios ever.
I remember
Oh my God.
walking into Sarah Colonna's office one morning and sitting down and shutting the door, and just started weeping because he had been telling me about how much he'd been being bullied, and I had been talking to Beth about it, and she was like, "Well, you got to go in there." I said, "We're gonna make it worse for him. If we go in and the teacher tells these dudes, I know these dudes because I grew up with these dudes.
Yeah.
And as soon as the teacher tells you that the parents came in, it's going to be worse."
100%.
But at the same time, you don't want to sit back and do nothing. It's like a real...
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a real...
rough.
And I remember just sitting in there because I was dropping him off that morning and he was like, "I don't want to go to school today." And I could just see it. He was just mentally just beat up. And your instinct as a parent is to be like, I gotta fix this.
Yeah.
I gotta solve this.
Yeah.
But I knew I'm gonna call my dad. He was like, "Look, you gotta let him figure it out." We ended up pulling him out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Which was one of the hardest. Sometimes you make a decision. You know this as a parent. I used to have some issues with my parents until I became a parent. And I was like, "Oh, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing either.
Yeah.
You had no idea."
So was it based on the bullying years? So you gotta get
It
out
was
of
a
here?
bullying because
Yes.
it was really affecting my grades. Like, I just wasn't doing well in school because when I was in school, I was just trying to make it through the day.
Survive.
Especially, like, I only played football 1 year. I didn't play again for obvious reasons. I tried out for basketball and baseball my freshman year. I went 1 for 4 on sports teams my freshman year, and I only made the track team because they literally everybody makes the track team.
Right.
I had kids making memes about me. You said you dated the popular girls. I had the popular girls picking on me. Like, it was all the way around. Like, they would
Making memes about you?
Honestly,
It was rough.
looking back at this one, it's pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, and I'll just paint the picture. It was a profile picture of me back when Facebook was still popular, or the only thing.
It's not popular anymore? Sorry.
Okay, it was, and
That
I was.
explains a
It
lot.
was just a picture. It was just a picture of me.
Is that why I'm not selling out the funny bone?
Yeah.
A picture of me, and the caption above it, or right above me, it said, "Oh, you run track and field. What event do you do?" And under me, it just said warm-ups. And by the way, looking back on it now, super funny, like really funny actually, and I love it. But some random number had sent it to me, and I was like, "Wait, who is this?" And every time I responded, they would just resend the picture. And then I don't know if I told you this, but like for about a month, like every other day, I would get the same text sent from me, but by a different phone number. So it was a group of kids. They were just like, "All right, it's your turn. All right, it's your turn." And they would just over and over and over for about a month, every other day, send only that picture. They never did anything different. It was just that one, but it got a huge reaction out of me every time. Cause I was like, man, fuck. Like,
No, you never told me that.
no, I didn't. And so like, it just like, it got to be a point where it was like, it was really affecting my mental. It was affecting my grades.
If you had told me that, I would have done something. I would have gathered all the numbers. I'd have brought them into the dude running it. I'd have said, "Get me all the kids and their parents." Because it's one thing if you feel like there's just a dude or two bullying you.
No, but it wasn't.
It's another thing if you feel like not only do you not know who it is, But so you're walking down the hallway. It could be all these people.
Yeah.
Right.
Which has got to make you feel terrible and a little unsafe in your school.
I never felt like I was going to get the shit beaten out of me. Like that's not my generation.
That's not what I meant by unsafe, dude.
No, I didn't know who I could talk to.
That's unsafe.
I did have a core friend group. I think everybody, at least I hope to think that everybody in high school has a core friend group of at least like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
I had a really good core friend group.
You did.
My freshman and sophomore year. But
dude, we pulled him out of Notre Dame was where this is one of them when I say as a parent, sometimes you got to make decisions where you're just like, I hope this is the right one.
Right.
If not, we'll be talking about it on a couch at some point in time.
Yeah.
But we pulled him out of, and he had worked forever to go always. I want to go to Notre Dame. I want to go to Notre Dame.
It was my dream school.
And midway through that sophomore year, Beth and I were like,
junior year.
So did you want to leave? Did you want to leave?
No, he actually, when he told me they were pulling me out, I was pissed, but he was like, all right, but these are your options. And I was like, hold on. If you're making the decision to pull me out of a school when I don't want to leave, I get to pick where I get to go. And the only thought I had in my mind was Champs, because that's where
you know where that is?
Yeah.
It's in the Valley. It was a charter school at the time.
It is still a charter school.
Still a charter school?
Yeah. And the reason I chose Champs is because everybody I went to middle school with in Milliken all chose either Champs or Loxa was the other one.
Yeah, Loxa's a good school too.
Is that downtown?
Yeah.
By the way, just for a parent,
go
Champs, not Loxa. I'll tell you why off the podcast.
Okay.
He's not gonna have to worry about that. I think he's got the schools mapped out. Yeah, I think we're good.
We talked about it earlier. He said his kids want to go to Champs. Like that's why we were talking.
Right?
About it. Yeah. That's why I'm saying Champs over Loxa.
Yeah, they're already talking about Champs.
Can I tell you, a great experience.
Dude, yeah. Because of the performing arts stuff.
Yeah.
Also, truthfully, like
good kids. It was a
good kids, and truthfully, the teachers. Like I look back and I think about like at certain schools and certain grades, you're like there are certain teachers that really stick out. My second semester junior year, I had 7 classes, 5 out of 7 teachers loved. My senior year, same thing, 5 out of 7. There are specific teachers and specific moments that I credit a lot to for helping me break out of a shell a little bit when I was like 17, 18. Like that school did more for me than I thought. And also, when you go into high school, I grew up as an athlete. I played 4 sports year round. Like going into high school, I was like, I don't know if you wanted this or you too, but like I wanted to be the guy. You know what I mean? Right. Like when you see it on TV, it's like, dude, he plays 3 sports. He's homecoming king. All the girls like him. He's respected all the way around. Like not everybody wants to fuck him, but everybody just knows him and likes him. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I never got the chance, even like could never step foot into following that role at Notre Dame because it was just never there. At Champs, I actually got to be the guy for the year and a half that I was there.
That's cool.
And it was dope. It's a performing arts school, so walking onto varsity basketball isn't that impressive because they played. It was I had to.
There was a lot of guys doing this on the court.
Yeah. It was me.
Yeah,
I was there.
Hey, when you're a jet, you're a jet. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and we.
But dude, he didn't talk to. Look, after the move, after we made him switch schools, he didn't talk. And this was maybe the first time ever. He didn't talk to us for
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He was
mad, man.
I would come home from school. I would go into my room. I would.
And we just had to, and Beth and I would just look at each other like, man, I hope we made the right decision and we didn't. That's the crazy thing. This is why if I ever had a problem with my parents, as soon as I started to become a parent, it was over because you realize.
Did your other kids have issues like this too?
Yeah, a little bit. My oldest son, he did most of his high school in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
All of his high school in Seattle.
But this one, like, my daughter didn't really get bullied during school, and my oldest son was he kind of kept it.
Both Caitlin and Trevor really kept to their respective groups.
Yeah,
they never really branched out. They were both. All 3 of us, but my brother and sister especially were in that like emo group in school.
Right,
100%. So. My sister, when she was in 8th grade, I was in 6th grade. And so I got 1 year with her in middle school. And I actually was kind of like adopted into her 8th grade friend group of all the emo girls.
Oh, dude, I got pictures of you in that emo. phase.
Oh, dude.
I can't wait to break them out. With the bangs.
I had that too. I went through that look also.
You did?
Yeah. Like,
how do you go with did you flat iron your Jewy hair?
Wait, where's
do you have a picture?
Let me get a picture. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This is going to be amazing.
I love that.
I remember we flat ironed your hair, dude. And you okay?
Yeah, I just got it was a little stuffy this morning.
Okay.
I'm good.
We flat ironed your emo hair.
Well, I gotta find it.
He went to go pay the meter, by the way.
Have you ever been in a stage, like, I know you didn't in rollerblading, or where you had like a different, like emo Dan, or did you have a little name?
No, I didn't have a name. Hold on,
what were you listening to? Because we're gonna go see My Chemical Romance in October.
You know, I don't like them. I was listening to Dashboard Confessional a lot, like Saves the Day.
By the way, I'm not gonna lie. I checked out after you said you don't like My Chemical Romance. that, by the way, to my generation and to me, that is one of the most disrespectful things you could say.
I'm trying to find this.
That's why I tell you he went to feed the meter.
That is you for sure, Drake Bell?
Thank you. I was just going to say that.
Can you hold that up to the camera?
I was just going to say...
Why do you look exactly like Drake Bell?
100%.
This was not flat iron, but it was blow dried. But there was a show I did with Justin Willman in St. Louis, and he had a flat iron because he was flat ironing his curly Jew hair. So then I flat ironed mine. There's this picture. I'll find that and send it so you guys see it. There's a picture of us in St. Louis.
Double flat iron?
Where I was like, I look like My Chemical Romance. I like them, but I don't love them. Like my favorite music is like pop punk. So I'm like NoFX, Rancid, Green Day, Blink-182.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Green Day,
Offspring,
I'm on board for.
Operation Ivy. Like that's what I listen to still all the time.
Did you start your stand-up in high school? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing like sketch comedy and all that kind of stuff when I was like 15, like even at the comedy clubs. And then when I was in Boston at 18 is when I really started like stand-up, like, 5 nights a week.
Do you remember your first either sketch or... Wow. How old were you when you started 5 nights a week stand up? Like 18?
God damn.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Because you remember the first time I got on stage, I was 15. But here's one thing that happened for people over the age of 40. We were given freedom and independence at a young age.
Yeah.
So we had confidence to go out and do that shit at 18.
Especially in Boston, like at Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault, it was like I was with like a lot of...
Who was doing stand-up in Boston at the time?
Well, Gary Goldman just like was the big... He just like did the Tonight Show, so he like made it, and he was going to move to LA.
Yeah.
And he was the nicest guy to me. Eugene Merman was also like very popular at the time in Boston.
Yeah.
I started with Dan Mintz, like we were the same open mic.
No shit.
Yeah. And
who was Lenny Clark still hanging around?
Lenny
Boston
Clark was still hanging out there.
That guy.
Also, Don Gavin was there.
Yeah, dude.
Of course.
Was Stephen Wright walking around?
No, Stephen Wright wasn't walking around. Tim McIntyre was at the Comedy Studio. I mean, like, yeah, all those guys were there.
I did.
Robbie Prince had a Tuesday night at the Comedy Connection. I did that show. All those guys, and like Bob Marley would come in and do his weekends, and it was awesome. But those guys were like Boston guys,
Yeah.
and I would go, and I was like 18 in like a full Adidas jumpsuit, like coming from Emerson.
You must have looked so young, dude.
I was so young, and I remember because I had a friend who was a writer who was represented by the manager Barry Katz.
Oh yeah.
So I met Barry Katz. And he was like, if you ever need advice in
Do
comedy,
the Barry Katz voice.
Like, if you ever need advice in comedy, give me a call. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay. So I called him one time from my dorm room, and I was like, hey Barry, I have a question. He's like, yeah, what's going on? And I was like, I'm feeling like these older comedians. I didn't say that, but I was like, these other comics in Boston that they don't like really like, they're not being that nice to me. I was so naive. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, they don't like you. And I was like, okay. And he goes, so here's what you gotta do: go into Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault, kill, and leave. And I was like, okay. And I did that. And because of that advice, like it was it was good, but also I never got in with a lot of those guys, you know, because I would just perform and I'd kill, or I tried to kill. I eventually was killing, and then I'd leave. So I really was just kind of hanging with like my Emerson friends, and then Dan Mintz, because he was also, so like the open micers, this guy Dan Neubauer was super funny. And we like would hang out. The new guys, Larry Lee Lewis was there. At the Howard Johnsons, he had like a Thursday night, the Hojos. But I would just perform and leave, you know, and that was sort of what I did for a long time in Boston.
Can you think of like some things when you were growing up, like even with your brother, that you guys did that you can't believe either your parents let you do, or that you did that you would never let your kids do now?
Oh, I mean, I think one of the craziest things we did was that I got really injured was during the first snowstorm of the year, like in 94, we basically had winter break. We came back on Monday, and then Tuesday it was snowstorm. So we're like, we got to go fucking sledding. So we get outside, and I was like, we got to take the boogie boards sledding. We got a snowboard, because snowboarding was so big. Then I was like, guys, we could take these boogie boards and we could be professional snowboarders. You know? And my brother was like, okay. And my friend Jeremy's like, cool. So we pick up like our neighborhood.
What kind of hill are we talking about?
A pretty big hill, but it was like on someone's house. But we didn't ask them. Like now I feel like you're like, can I use your street for a second?
Didn't do that.
I'm thinking about this. The boogie board on the bottom, like that is so slick.
Yeah,
like,
well, you'll hear where the story goes.
Keep going. I'm so sorry.
We grab the boogie board. We go to the top of this hill. It really wasn't that big of a hill, but it was like not a sledding hill. It was like rocks and different things. So I was like, let's do this. Our parents were not with us. We are, you know, my brother is 8. I think I'm 11. And we are just like we're down the street, you know, very far, crazy blizzard.
When you leave the house, what do you say to the parents?
Hey, we'll see you for mac and cheese in 7 hours.
That's it.
You know?
Okay.
I'll be back for dinner.
When the
and
lights
my
come
dad told me that what he did in the snowstorm during this time is he went to my friend's dad's house, and they were just smoking weed in the fucking snowstorm, and they were getting high as fuck. So my dad is now, it's like 11 a.m. My dad is high as fuck. Me and my friends are on the top of this hill.
Your dad sounds cool.
He's very cool. I get on the boogie board. I go down, immediately fucking fly off, crash into a rock, slice my knee open. I still remember the sensation where I laid on the ground and I just felt warm, like my entire leg was warm, and I started screaming. There's blood everywhere. It was like, ah! So my friends run to find my dad. He's high, so he's like coming with his friend Jimmy, and they're all fucking high, and I can't move. And they have to. It's so funny thinking of these two like high guys. They're picking a bleeding kid up. They put me in the car. I go to the emergency room. I need 50 stitches.
Whoa! Get the fuck out of here!
It gets crazy. I got 50 stitches in my on my knee. Had like staples. And then I, you know, I did some physical therapy, and you know, it felt like it was going to be okay. I went back to school like 2 weeks later, and I'm in math class, and the bell rings, and I go to stand up, and my knee is locked, and I was like, why can't I get up? And then I like touched my knee, and it was so warm. And then they had to get a wheelchair and like take me to like the nurse. The nurse calls my dad. He shows up again, probably high again. Yeah. He comes in, and they're like, you should go to your doctor. So go to the doctor, and looks, my knee is now sort of like a balloon. Giant. And the doctor goes, okay, let's we're going to take a little, I'm going to pull some fluid to see what's going on in your knee. And I remember, it's gross, but he went to pull like the fluid, and I remember seeing an entire like syringe just yellow. And I was like, that can't be good.
That's not good. That's not blood.
And then he's like, I talked to my dad. And then my dad comes back in, and he goes, you're having surgery in a half hour. And then I got rushed to the hospital. I had like surgery. I had an orthoscopic surgery. And it ended up that I had a staph infection.
Yeah.
And like, it was pretty fucking serious. I got a staph infection. I had a tube in my, like, draining my leg, and I was on an IV drip. I didn't go to the rest of middle school. Like, I didn't go back to school to the spring because I was basically in bed home
at 11.
At 11, yeah, I was turning 12, and I just sat there with an IV. And my dad was working. Was like, he was unemployed then, so he was like the home nurse. Which, as you know from the earlier story, he was high a lot.
Yeah. So he was probably taking your IV.
Yeah, and there was one time where he was doing it, and he was definitely doing it wrong. And I was like, Dad? He's like, yeah. I was like, there's blood coming out of my chest. and then, but it was kind of fun because I really just like sat around. I was like, had like, you know, they gave me like a school tutor, you know, like a homeschool tutor from the school that would come, and I would just like work for like 2 hours, and I'd watch like Jerry Springer.
How often do you think I was high when you were growing up?
Well, based on the facts that I know now, you.
No, based on the popular podcast.
No, I mean that actually not in the bad. You said you didn't really start smoking until I was in high school again.
And here's the deal. I actually, when I was single with them, I quit smoking.
Yeah.
And not
when I first met you, you were single. I remember the first time I met you, by the way. We should have said the beginning podcast. I remember I met you at the Comedy Store in like 2003. You had your hat backwards, and you were talking about your kids and how you were making the sandwiches.
Yeah, peanut butter
sandwiches. Yeah, PB&J. And how that was like a business, and how you did your one-man show at Aspen, and you got a development deal. And that was like our first conversation.
Can I tell you something
at
about
the steps of the Comedy Store?
Can I tell you something about the PB&J?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the PB&J thing.
So 21 years I've known you.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
The PB&J thing, my favorite part about that is he used to like tear a couple holes in my shirt and put a little dirt on my face. So when I walked up there, so I would get a couple extra bucks.
They got better tips than I did, my kids. So I would make sure their clothes were dirty and tattered.
It's like one of the greatest stories of all time. It's amazing.
But you know, I forget what I was talking about. What was
Me
I
too.
Talking about getting high. Sorry, I interrupted you.
See that?
That's why.
Drugs.
I didn't when I was single. It's not that I didn't think I could parent a little high, but if shit went down and I was high, I would have never forgiven myself.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah. Also, for me, I can't smoke weed anymore. I smoked a lot of weed in middle school and high school and in college, and then I never even really drank in college. I just like was always smoking weed. And then one day, I remember, I think I was like 28, so it's coming for you. And I remember I was in my apartment, and I looked at the time, and it was like 11:03 or something. And I remember this, and I just started going like, why is the day ending? And then I got so fucking paranoid, and then I just started freaking out, and then I was like, I gotta go to sleep. And then I woke up and smoked weed the next day and got more paranoid, and I was like, I can't smoke weed. And then so really since then I've like I love like marijuana. I love the smell of it. I love sort of like you know, I love buying it. I love rolling. I love hanging out, but I still can't really get high. Earlier this year, we tried to do like a bunch of edibles just to kind of like, because it's fun, and it was good. But then like towards the end, also like it got a little paranoid again. So I need to find the right balance.
I think I had right off the top of my head. So I'm going to take a guess that the edibles you were taking were just straight THC. There's no CBD in it.
Yeah.
You should get some edibles that are like, my girlfriend has some. Camino makes them. They're all over LA. It's like, it's 2 milligrams of THC and 6 milligrams of CBD. Okay. So it's like a 3-to-1 almost. So you still get that euphoric feeling, but you have that CBD that kind of cancels you out a little bit, more evens you out. My mom the same way. That's the only thing she can use. Yeah,
that's true. Your kids are starting to get like, have you started to think about that? Like how you're going to address those kind of conversations?
A little bit, only because it's so different now. Like when I grew up, like it was funny when I grew up, like we all knew like all of our parents were like doing drugs. Like they grew up in the 80s. They were young 20s, 30s in the 80s.
I was going to say.
Now my parents were like, you know, like in the my dad, our neighbor was a big drug dealer in like who would like running cash from like the clubs in New York City. They had these crazy stories. I even have heard all their stories, but they have some. So they were having a lot of fun, and weed was around, and I remember the smell of weed. When I first smelled weed, I was like, oh, this is my dad's bedroom. Yeah. You know? So I was aware of it, even though
it smells so familiar.
Yeah. Even though I knew it was like, you know, don't do drugs. I knew I was in my house, but now they don't really do that. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
About it's still middle school kids doing weed is still bad, obviously. Yes. But it's just like we drive past all the weed shops all the time. Yeah, so we don't know what to tell them, where it's like it's medical marijuana. We call it medical marijuana. But I don't know like what to say. I haven't we've done like the sex talk, which my parents didn't even do.
You have?
At 11?
Yeah, well, there's books. Yeah, because they have the sex talk, Principal Martinez, at the end of 5th grade.
What's the sex talk? Tell me what it is.
Well, there's a book.
Let's role play. I'll be your kid.
No, there's a book that explains everything. Oh. You know, how you get pregnant by by having sex.
Yeah, I didn't have that talking about it.
And it's just very sort of explained. It's like the penis goes in the vagina, and that's how the sperm goes to the egg, and that's how a baby is made. That's how babies are made, is through sex.
Right.
And that is what sex is. Some people do it to not have the baby, but that is how the baby is made. And
that's the quick one.
That's the quick one. Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, and then but the book is longer, and then
that'd be a short book.
Yeah, but he thinks it's funny, and it's just it just really lays it out. There's not the sex talk hasn't changed. It's
Did
weird.
your parents have sex?
No,
no,
Yeah,
never ever. One time I actually, this is the rollerblading podcast. One time I rollerbladed to meet this girl in the middle of the night.
You went booty call on rollerblades and did you still get vagina?
I don't think it was vagina, but we were making out.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
So
I was gonna say, based on that, it sounded like she was a he. But
do you keep the rollerblades on when you're making out?
Yeah, they were on. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I love that.
And then I remember I got a hickey, and then I had a hickey for the first time. My mom saw it, and the only time she ever talked about it, she looked at me, she goes, "Don't hang out with fast girls." She didn't even blame it on me. She blamed it on
them fast girls. Like it was the 50s.
Yeah, and it was like that's so my mom did. It's nothing to do with me. It's like, don't hang out with the sluts. Yeah. Stay away from the sluts.
Like the Thunderbirds and the Pink Ladies.
Yeah. Anyways,
dude, I never had a sex talk with him.
No, you know why? Because I've had porn in my pocket since I was 14.
Really? Have you been looking? Did you look at porn when you were 14? That's the hardest part.
13.
That's the conversation
11.
I have to have with him.
Yeah.
Like when he comes back, because that's the next conversation, which is like,
because he's been away with just a lot of other young dudes.
Yeah. I know.
And some of those young dudes have 18-year-old brothers.
I know. And I have a friend who's in such denial.
Yeah.
My friend Danielle is like, they don't know about porn yet. He doesn't know. And I was like, They
know
do.
everything.
Yeah. Everyone, like I used to go. My friend John's dad, who like had a gun room, he also had a porn room. We would go in there and we'd like flip through the pictures. And we were like 10.
There was magazines.
So
in the
now
woods.
it's everywhere. But the problem is there's so much fucking porn and it's so intense that I just need to explain to him that this is not real sex.
Right.
That's the problem.
By the way, when you tell me about your friend's parents, his friend's parents sound way cooler than yours.
Yeah.
A porn room and a gun room? This dude's
separate too. You don't want to mix the two.
Yeah, that's my friend's dad. Anytime there's like a mass shooting, he always texts me, It's not the guns. I'm like, okay.
It's not
It's
me.
the porn room.
I was like, just stay in your porn room.
What do you feel like? Because you have 3 kids. How old again?
The 11, 9, and 2.
Oh.
Do you
Big difference
feel
on that.
like
Big difference, yeah.
already? Because 11 and 2, their growing up experience, even because today's childhood experiences change so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And is it already different raising a 2-year-old now than it was?
Yeah, well, also with this book, The Anxious Generation, I don't know if you know about it or read about
What's
it.
it called?
About The Anxious Generation. It's about your generation, about people who grew up with the phones. You know, you're a little bit older, but it's maybe a little bit younger than you, but they grew up just with the phones, and they're now realizing that like it's not good. I mean, you need to do that much research to figure it out, but it's not good. So I think like LAUSD just passed a law where there's not going to be phones in schools anymore.
Thank God.
You know, so, but I think the difference is I think that my youngest daughter, Penny, is going to grow up in sort of this like weird new sort of like digital prevention age where I think my kids are like, you know, they're around. They go on their iPads, they do their thing.
Right.
They're texting all their friends all the time. They just do that because that's part of their way they live.
Culture.
Where
It's
I
like
think
part of our,
I think it's going to change drastically for her. I think just based on what's going on.
Have you changed? I'm so curious because I know I did. Have you changed as a parent? Like, have you learned things? I'm always curious about that. Have you learned things as you've now on your 3rd kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what you were discussing, the idea that trying not to be so like helicopter-y over these kids and sort of like let them live and let them be kids. Because my first son, we were like, just like, is he breathing?
Yeah.
You know? And now like, that's my joke where it's like, we didn't let him even get his iPad till he was 8. And like Penny, who's 2, has already seen Saw 1, 2, and 3.
Hilarious. And written reviews.
Yeah, so we were like, you know, on top of them. And I feel like Penny, we're just like, it's like having like a 40-year-old single woman in the house, you know? Like,
I would say that actually as the youngest of 4 boys, my oldest brother had a ton of rules, and I felt like my only rule was don't die, come home eventually.
You're the youngest,
Exactly.
I'm the youngest. It was, Okay, so is there anything that your parents like did growing up, like in a way that they parented you, that you said you would never do when you were a parent, but still ended up doing?
Well, that's a good question.
Yelling. Yeah, like a yell. You
can't
not yell.
You can't not yell.
You know,
Kids are dumb.
My company is called Screaming Elliot Productions because my dad was always screaming at us, and all my friends called him the Wolf because he was always just screaming, which is even funnier because knowing that he always was like smoking weed, I think he'd be more calm.
Yeah,
you know, now he's just like chilling. He's like so cool, but like he was always screaming at us all the time. So I'm like, I don't want to be screaming all the time, but I do.
I remember
it's hard not to, right?
He's only honestly like
not like scream, like yell, but like, you know, you have to. That's how they will not
100%.
Stop doing what they're doing.
100%. But I really like anytime I could probably only go a handful of times you ever really raised your voice at me.
Because I remember my dad. I remember saying the same thing. I'm not going to scream. Because I remember turning off when he screamed, and not only did I not like the way it made me feel, but I don't remember hearing anything. I just remember how I felt when he was screaming. And I was like, this is the most ineffective way of communication. Like if I really want to, but my mom never raised her voice. But when she did, I was like, oh, she's serious.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only time I'm ever going to raise my voice is when I need to really let them know.
And that's like that's sort of what I do. But they know, you know, like
that's the way they know, right?
They know. They know. Yeah, it does help.
Is there something that is there something you hope your kids get from you and something that you don't? I hope they don't get from you.
I mean, I hope they get like my sort of optimism, you know, like I sort of always like look for the best and feel like positive and hope that, you know, wish for the best for things to happen. I hope they do that. I hope they don't get my crippling shopping addiction.
Retweet.
We were talking about the sneakers earlier. Yeah.
No, I actually hope that they don't get my sort of like I just don't read. You know, like I don't read.
Me either.
I don't read.
And like, are we high fiving not reading?
Absolutely.
Is that what just happened?
Books are for nerds.
Yeah. So I like have so many books. I've read all the
high five not reading.
We'll do it again. Yeah, that's right. Books are for nerds.
So and my wife reads a lot, so I want them to, and they are already readers, but I hope that they stick with that because that is just something that I just like. I don't read enough. I want to read. It's on my to-do list. It's on my New Year's resolution. I got piles of books. I've read all the comedy books.
Yeah,
you know,
too.
but like you know, if someone's even the book that I said, The Anxious Generation, I have not read that book, but I'm talking about it.
It's so funny because I was like, I'm gonna go get this book. Dan recommends it.
You should start audiobooking it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. I have it, but I haven't read it yet, so I want them to read more. That's a good answer.
I have one more question. How long have you been saying you were going to read that book?
Like 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, that's not that bad.
No, I'm going to read it. I have to.
When he said 3, I thought he was going to say 3 years.
What's the different role that you and your wife play? Like, do you know somebody's usually a disciplinarian? Somebody's like what when your kids, like, how do you think they see you guys?
I mean, she hates it, but they see me as like fun dad, you know, and they see her as serious mom. But every once in a while it switches, and then they use that against us. They're like, well, now mommy's the fun mom. I'm just like,
when they get older, who are they going to ask for money? You or your wife?
Definitely me.
Hey, I was gonna say, who are they gonna? They're gonna ask you first to like go hang out with friends or like go do something like that.
Yeah, they'd be like, I need somebody because if they ask their mom, she's gonna be like, okay, let's go on Facebook Marketplace and get something from the Buy Nothing group. Like that's how she lives her life.
Yeah. That's not fun.
She's like, I got a bag of sweaters off of Tahunga. Take these.
I have to say, man, I think parenting in a way is so much harder right now.
Yeah. It's stressful.
It's stressful because you're being judged all the time.
Right.
People don't let you just parent in however you want to parent.
By complete strangers.
If you post something about your kids, somebody's going to say something about why are they, who are they.
I know. It's so hard.
It's also like something that my dad pointed out that I hadn't thought of until he pointed it out. He was like, you know why it was easier for us is that when you came home from school, all the outside influences were gone. We officially got to parent you and instill in you whatever we wanted to instill with no phone, none of your friends. You weren't in contact with anybody. Look, we used the landline. We had 10-minute limits on the phone calls because every phone call cost money. Right. And so he was like, it's so much easier to influence and shape your kids. He was like, I don't know how you do it now.
Right.
Because no matter what you say, you're not the biggest influence in their life.
Yeah.
It's such a...
It's Kid Leroy.
It is, dude. It's
love his music, by the way.
Me too.
It's
Me
this
too.
It's
we'll
this
high
dude.
five that also.
Who's that guy? He's high-fiving you, Kid Leroy. Who's this guy?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, it's this guy.
Sketch. What's up, brother?
But like it's...
Special teams, special plays, special players.
A 30-second TikTok all of a sudden that you never know they saw changes their whole fucking life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how you guys do it.
What do you mean you're anti-Israel? No.
Yeah. What? How did that happen?
How did that happen?
Listen, man.
I got one more.
Yeah.
One more before we get out of here. Best parenting advice.
Best parenting advice?
Is this to somebody who's already has kids or somebody who's about to have kids?
Someone's about to have kids. Someone, for me, like, I'm not about to have kids, but like, this is a question I always ask for people who come on this podcast because everyone's always got a different answer. And it's always for like different things.
I would say Kenny Garcia said this to me because I was hanging out with him when I first had my son was like 1 and Rachel was pregnant. And he was saying it just goes by so fast, which is so cheesy and so over. You've heard this so many times, but it goes by so fast that he was like, you should record their voices, you know? And that's something that I do. Like I record their voices and we do these like videos, and it's just, it's insane how fast. I mean, my son graduated elementary school. You know, like he's now gonna be only in like our place for like another 7 years. Like it's very weird how fast it goes by. And my wife hates that I say that, but I really can't believe it anymore. And I don't know if it's because of kids or whatever it is, but time is just like insane, right?
I would say when you have kids, the days go by slowly, but the years go by very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, and I would also add in for parents, like you said, time goes by quickly. There's going to be a day, the last time you pick your kid up. Well, you don't know when that is.
Yeah.
That last time. So like cherish all of those moments. But I would say the most important thing is don't take everything so seriously.
Yeah.
When you ask them to get in the bath or clean up their room, it depends on what tone you want to take.
Right.
It's how they're going to receive that.
Yeah, well, we've realized because like our nighttime routine is a fucking goddamn nightmare shit show. So there's been times where like we are both losing our mind because like we can't get them in the shower.
Yeah.
Penny's crying this way. He won't put on pajamas. They don't want to take a shower. They didn't do anything that they're sweaty. You know, all these conversations. Yeah. But then we realize when we sort of just are casual about it, it's just so much a better night.
They are picking up your energy.
I know that's the hardest part. The hardest part I feel like as a parent is to sort of like drop your energy of the day or your life or your career and that's going on and just sort of be present with them and help them sort of move through, you know, their evening, you know, as kids who have other things going on and they don't care what the fuck happens
at all,
you know?
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part.
That's the thing is that they weren't in that meeting.
Yeah.
So why you're short with them about getting in the shower?
Yeah.
Just seems very personal to them.
Yeah.
It just feels like why is this turning into
why is it such a big deal?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's a big deal because your ass smells, but that's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you get in the shower.
I love I didn't do anything to sweat, so I don't have to take a shower.
Yeah, I know. It's like you can say that every day, guys, because none of you do sports.
Yeah. Hey, have you talking about you didn't sweat in your podcast?
Yeah, exactly. What's going on?
Here, Dan.
Yes.
First of all, dude.
Yes.
I'm so happy whenever I get to reconnect with you.
Yeah, me too. I love you.
I mean, you're just like the best dude. We used to see each other at LA Fitness working out.
The worst gym that was ever created in Los Angeles.
You could be.
Started off as Bally's Fitness.
Yes.
Then it became LA Fitness.
Yes.
And then now it's got bulldozed recently.
Wait, that complex got bulldozed
Yeah,
finally?
they're building it up. It's actually looking really nice. I don't know what's going in there yet, but
Dude.
it looks brand new finally. I mean, it was really
the
when
worst
I first
gym
moved
ever.
to LA, I joined Bally's Fitness.
Me too.
And I got there and I had nothing to do. And there was a contest to win the elliptical trainer. And I go, I'm going to fucking win this elliptical trainer. I don't know why I wanted it.
What was the contest?
The contest was just they're going to pull your name out of a hat. So I put like 100 of my names in the hat. And then they're like, we're drawing the names Tuesday at 9 a.m. And I was like, I could be there. So I just like showed up and I waited. They pulled names and no one was there because it was like this obscure time. And then they're like, Dan Levy. And I was like, yes.
No, you won it.
I won it. So I called my buddy AJ and I was like, hey, do you have a car? Like I just moved to LA. And he's like, I got a Wrangler. I was like, all right, come meet me. And then we had to pick up the fucking little trainer, put it in the Wrangler, and we drove back to our apartment. And he was like, are you ever going to use this? And I was like, every day. And we never, I use it as a time machine in a
hang
sketch.
Your clothes.
Yeah, and to hang our clothes.
I was going to say, did you ever even take it out of the fucking box?
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I loved about that LA Fitness?
What?
Every TV, anybody who did guest star roles in the 70s worked out at that LA Fitness and still was talking about the biz.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bunch of older dudes and women, and they were talking about I guest starred on The Fall Guy. I was on The Bionic Man.
I saw Miles Teller there.
Yeah, exactly.
Miles Teller
I
used
saw
to work
Miles
out
Teller
there.
there and Chris Evans.
Wow.
I never saw Chris Evans.
I did a whole joke about it for years, but I saw Justin Timberlake. Maybe.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
No, you did. At that same one?
Yeah, maybe it was because of it was so shitty that it was like very under the radar. There's no paparazzi outside Bally's Little Fitness.
There was a lot of there. That's why I saw a lot of ready for this?
There, yeah.
I worked there at 19 for about 6 to 7 months.
What year was that?
8 years ago.
2016.
Oh wow, it was really going downhill then.
I was at the very end of
dangerous.
it.
But I remember I saw you were at LA Fitness when you got the Josh Wolf show was happening.
Yeah,
like we celebrated some moments there.
I loved that grimy gyms.
I love
me too.
Gym.
I still love grimy. I was going to the best gym in the Valley called Built, and it just closed.
Where was that?
It was like Ventura Place. It was so shitty, and it was so great, and also very funny people there. But they closed the gym, so now
I love that gym because it was a little rundown, and I was the youngest person there by 75 years.
Right,
but
crazy.
It was empty. I could get on the squat machine. I could get on freeways. I could get in there, knock out a workout in 45 minutes without being interrupted.
Yeah,
it was great because it was always empty.
I used to go to the Stairmaster all the time. That's where I'd see you.
Yeah,
and there was this one nuts British woman. Do you remember this woman? She was like, she should have had like a crime podcast because she was obsessed with crime and like trying to get people out of jail, but she wasn't a lawyer. She was psychotic, like mentally ill, and she'd be like, "Can you believe the DA?" And she'd be like talking to me about like, "We got to bail this guy out. He's innocent." And I was like, "Who are you talking about?" She's obsessed with innocent serial killers. That was her thing.
Oh no, she's
innocent.
By the way,
so I would like turn around if I walked in the gym like early. And she was on the treadmill with like a yellow notepad. I was like, I gotta go home. I can't deal with this right now.
One of my favorites from that gym.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of favorites from that gym. It was like you would go in there, especially working there for a certain amount of time. Like it was just you'd see the same people every day, every specific day, and they would always be there. There was remember that older Asian woman who always wore the Patriots shirt, and she always had she definitely had about 75 tape faces.
Are you
face
talking
tapes?
about the one with the enormous fake titties?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was an old.
She had the
Asian
most.
I
porn
think I
star.
remember that.
Yes.
I remember her. Yes.
She had plastic surgery in all the wrong places. Like all of it. I was like, honestly, you should just look old at this point.
Also,
I think you look not as great now with all this.
No,
tape
no one
happening.
needs that. Also, you know who's there was that you ever see that actor? He's like the really big actor, this black guy who was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
He was in some Sandler movies.
Yes.
That guy is like 8 feet tall, and I would see him a lot. He was a nice guy.
What about the guy who owned the fitness store next door
guy.
who looked like Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I loved him.
And Sexy Nutrition.
Yes,
the best name for a store ever.
They
Sexy
closed down before the LA Fit.
Sexy Nutrition. His name was Roland.
Yeah, he was
yes.
jacked.
Roland was jacked.
And a
but
wicked nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
He was on Son of a Beach with Tim Stack.
That's what he was, right? Yeah, because that was his big break. Because he had like the posters up. I was always like, how is he paying for this?
Tim Stack, that's his name, right? The writer he created.
Yeah.
Man, but what I love about the Valley, and we're gonna wrap on this, dude, is that's where all of the older movie TV people are.
I love it.
And you bump into I used to watch Santa Barbara, the soap opera.
Yeah.
But I would bump into these old Santa Barbara stars at what's the name of the Mexican food place on Ventura.
Chico's. Oh no, on Ventura.
On Ventura, right in Studio City, like
Mexicali.
Mexicali.
Oh, Mexicali closed, but yeah, that was
closed.
It closed.
It's Umami Burger now, dude. It's been closed for a
Umami
decade.
Burger I think closed now too. That place,
Mexicali was
the place. I know,
and the shittiest Mexican food,
the worst Mexican food.
Dude, Mexicali's been closed for a long ass time.
Mexicali's great
pre-COVID.
Yeah,
I think so.
No,
dude,
or maybe right during COVID. I remember it. I remember also when I moved to LA, it was like such a good spot, such a good happy hour spot, but the food was not.
I feel like Mexicali's been closed since 2018.
The last time I went to Mexicali, my dog walker married somebody. Okay, ready for this? My dog walker married somebody, and she had the wedding at a pet place on Ventura. There were 5 people invited to the wedding. Well, 5 couples. Beth and I were one couple. The other couple that came was Gary Oldman and his son. Yeah. Judd Nelson came solo.
Okay.
It was a weirdest group.
Weird group.
And then Judd Nelson did a toast at Mexicali, and everyone was like, okay, that was... Yeah. It's amazing. It was fucking amazing. It was the craziest group.
But this is the kind of thing that only happens in the valley. Yeah.
By the way, that's not the breakfast club. That's the lunch club.
Like, dude, that's the blue plate special club.
That's the early bird special.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
That's amazing.
Dude, tell everybody where they can find you and what you're doing.
They can find me on Instagram at Dan Levy Show. That's where all my stuff is. I'm also on TikTok, Dan Levy Comedy. I forgot the password to Dan Levy Show on TikTok, so now I'm Dan Levy Comedy.
You can hit forgot password.
Is the oldest. I was just saying.
You can say you can hit forgot password.
But it's like too annoying, and it's a whole fucking thing. And also, I got all my clips on my YouTube, and I'm performing. I'm all in LA right now, so I'm doing Comedy Store on Saturday, but I don't know when this airs, so I'm just in LA right now. I'm not touring.
I will tell you guys, first of all, comedianjoshwolf.com for all tour dates, Josh Wolf Comedy online. If you like my stories about him and my family, you're going to love Dan. Like you're really, and I would say that my comedy, a lot of times, I make you laugh with dance moves, and Dan actually writes good jokes.
I do dance moves too.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. There's a difference. Like you
might have a little more movement than him right now, though.
But you are like a top notch joke writer.
Oh, thank you.
And performer, which is a hard thing. A lot of times you'll watch somebody on stage and you're like, oh, those are great jokes, but I know why he's not doing stand up.
Right.
Because he's tough to watch.
Right.
That's a tough watch.
Yeah.
But you are a great combination of a great joke writer and so fucking likable on stage. I'm so, as somebody who's a fan of stand-up comedy, I'm so glad that you're back in it because you took a little...
Yeah.
You took some time off to have a...
Yeah, you were the person who texted me and said, I'm so glad to see you back in.
I really am, man. I'm a comedy nerd and I watch everybody stand up. You're super funny, man. So I'm super happy that you're back.
I appreciate it.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
Jake_Wolf on Instagram. It's Jake Wolf on TikTok. Like he said, comedianjoshwolf.com for tour dates and tickets. I don't know when this is going to air, so go online and see where we're going to be this summer because I couldn't tell you where we're going to be. But yeah, man, it was great to meet you. It was great to do this. And,
I love it.
I'm definitely going to dive into some comedy. I'm glad to know you're not Dan Schneider.
He's glad too.
I'm glad too.
From what this was super fun. Next time we'll do another sneaker compare, but I definitely want to jump in, see what you got. That's it for us.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you too. Love you.
Love you.
Man.
I love it.
And as always,
love this studio, by the way.
Yeah.
And as always, do something nice for someone today. Tell somebody you love them. We'll see you next week.